I've been running, running round, upside down, inside out. I've been running. I've been running, running round, upside down, inside out. I've been running from my mind.
All right, so let's talk about this meeting we had today. Just a little bit about the meeting we had today.
Well, it was pretty awesome that, here you got this family. What?
Let's say a little bit about the meeting we had today.
Okay. So, what I'm saying is...
No, we gotta start it. Let's say a little bit about the meeting we had today.
Yes, the meeting we had today was awesome.
It was awesome.
I mean, I think from my standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
in that, here you had a family, a young family, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
who, experiencing some health challenges. They know where they are, they know where they've been, yet they're still willing to be open and learn.
Right.
And so, just to come and, people are real funny about food.
Fickle.
Real funny about food, but to be able to come and try some new things and, like it, not like it, and then talk more about what they need. And did you notice that as we talked,
Right.
more things came up that they realized they were dealing with health-wise?
Right. Other things started coming up.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was them or their children.
Right.
And that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
It's great.
So what was it like for you seeing another brother who,
I was just happy that he knows he needs to make the change, and he was going to do it. He was willing. That's why I couldn't think of the word, but he was willing to go ahead and do it. Don't go on. Okay.
Yeah, and so it was so interesting. So I made the whole grain biscuits. I made the scrambled tofu, and that was different for me because not adding any salt to the scramble and allowing it to be put on afterward. That was really different for me. So,
but it was flavorful. I mean, it had the flavor. It just needed that extra
pinch of salt.
The pinch of salt.
Good.
And I think you had put some in mine already.
No. When I served you, I sprinkled some on your food. Right.
So it had already. I mean, the flavor was there anyway.
And then having the polenta, the creamy polenta, which is still different from the regular grit because it's a larger grain, a little bit more texture.
Right.
Whole. It's not degerminated, so you get that fiber in it.
Right.
And that, and then the berry salad.
The berry mixture. Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed is I encouraged them to eat their
raw
fresh
first.
Fruit, their raw first, to kick up the enzymes, and that was the last thing he ate.
Oh, he didn't.
He ate it last. Yes.
Wow.
And so, and what was interesting too?
What's
watching how much a serving of, let's say, a serving of butter was 1 tablespoon.
Right.
But as I doled out 1 tablespoon for, the different dishes, we don't even eat a serving of
We don't. Not
butter.
A tablespoon, no.
We don't eat a whole tablespoon of butter. I was looking like, whoa, that's a lot.
Right.
But for that gentleman who was dealing with the high blood pressure,
Right.
or not the high blood pressure, well, that plus the congestion,
Plus other things, right? Because there's heart failure.
It was exciting for him to know that he could actually have that much and still be within his sodium restriction.
Right.
And
the other thing is, to ask him, like, to get people to ask questions, like when these doctors are telling you things or telling people things, to ask the questions, like he had no idea like why this took place, and so they're telling him his arteries are clogged, but they're also telling him that he has congestive heart failure.
Yet he wasn't born with it.
Right. Yet he wasn't born with it. Right. And then they say it's generational, and then just letting him know that yes, you can have the predisposition to a certain thing, but until you adopt a certain lifestyle, that's the only thing that's going to pull the trigger to take your life.
Yes. Now, and then, remember the wife said she barely drinks water.
Right.
And that we gave her 8 ounces of water. It wasn't even a full 8 ounces of water.
No.
And she said that was too much for her to drink at one time.
Right.
And
she felt it was.
She felt like it was. And that's really eye-opening because we know that the body needs water.
Has to happen.
And if you are chronically dehydrated, you're setting yourself up for a cesspool.
All kind of stuff.
All types of negative things to happen. And she said, well, why don't I get thirsty? Your body is trying to conserve, trying to work on as little water as you're feeding it to do what it needs to do. But then I asked more questions. Are you clear in your thought process? Are you tired?
Right. She talks about her headache.
Her headaches, things like that. And I'm like, guess what? That goes back to water intake, much of it.
Right.
So that was interesting.
Right, exactly. And it's also interesting to also deal with this kind of thing as adults. But when you have children that you haven't been using this lifestyle or haven't adopted a lifestyle change, but you have children that are adopting the same habits, and now you have to then go and teach or try to help them.
But you know what? It's definitely harder when the children are teenagers.
Right.
And they have access to their own food and, things like that. And, teenagers that think they're invincible, they feel great.
Right.
Why, unless they're really, really thinking or really, really have issues, why then adopt this lifestyle? Like, no, that's for you all. You all are old.
Right.
You all got problems.
Right.
That's for you.
Not saying this is with their mindset, but
right. No.
Yeah,
right.
It's those things that people have to deal with.
Right. And so making it exciting enough that your children would want to go in with you and not just see it as like, oh, mom and dad are on some old extra stuff right now. Extra.
Very extra.
It can be a job, but I think it can be made exciting. And what I really, really am seeing more and more is that young ladies, now we see in their teens, are having such female specific issues.
They're suffering from things, man.
I'm talking 16, 14, having all kind of boils and cysts and menstrual cycle issues. And if it's starting at this age, what's 30 gonna look like?
Right.
If it's not rectified.
Right. And this stuff isn't coming out of a vacuum. This stuff is just not happening for happenstance. I mean, to be able to grow, to be at that age, having boils and things of that nature. I mean, it's like there are toxins that are trying to be relieved from the body. And if it can't, and then to think that these children have to deal with such maladies. For doing simple things, like whether it be using certain products or eating certain things. There are things in society there are companies out there that don't care about the general health, of our children, and so we have to care.
Right, they don't care. And unfortunately, most conventional medicine doctors, it's not even that they don't care. They literally don't know anything other than drug medication. And they understand basic physiology, but as it relates to the drug medications that they have to prescribe.
Right. And they have a life to live. They're trying to take care of their families.
They're telling people there's no cure for things that we've seen be cured.
Right.
And I know it has a lot to do with their licensing and what they can say and cannot say.
Right.
But for instance, this mother today told us she had me look at a cream that she had been given to her daughter to use on some skin lesions on her.
She showed you the actual.
She showed me the label, and so I was able to see the ingredients. Okay. And I'm looking at the ingredients, and by God's grace, because I've been studying for a while, I knew what 80 to 90% of the ingredients were, scientific language and all. And it was a really good product. A few things I'm wondering, like, what's that in there for? Like, why is that necessary?
Right.
But I was able to tell this mother, like, hey, this is pretty good stuff. You can make it much cheaper on your own just by getting the basic ingredients, right?
Right.
But she said she showed it to her daughter's doctor, and the doctor was just like, well, if it's working for you, well, go ahead and use it. But she had no idea what it was, what was in it, and things like that. And not that a doctor is going to know everything.
Right, they don't.
But it's like, what if this stuff was toxic? What if this stuff was, and what often happens, something that is even more toxic that's going to compound
everything
the
else
issue,
going on,
or compromise some other part of your body.
Right.
It's like, come on, we are looking for healing, not band-aiding, and so I just felt so blessed that I could share what I do know with this family that came by today.
Right. It's a blessing. Right. So all in all, it was a great meeting. They came because, you know, the husband was going through heart failure or congestive heart failure, and you know, we just wanted to share some of our world with them, you know, just to show them, you know, what things they can do as a family.
And you know something else I thought of, you know, how they were talking about how they're having like some challenges with, you know, teenage behavior,
right.
And you know,
right.
I thought for a moment, if the diet was changed, how much would the attitude change?
Man, when you're in pain, it's not easy to have a joyous countenance.
When you're constipated,
there's
a lot of attitude
suffering
and angst.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
And
when there's hurt, yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah.
And you know, I share this with mothers of young children. You know, young children are not necessarily able to articulate themselves. They're not able to say, "Oh, my stomach is feeling really backed up, so I have a headache, and I'm feeling sluggish and kind of snappy in general."
Right.
So you have a young child just kind of acting out because they're constipated. They haven't made a bowel movement in 2 days, but they eating every 3 hours.
Every 3 hours.
Backed up. But then you might have a teenager who is experiencing the same things, and you know they're definitely not about to tell you I'm constipated or
even if they even know to say that.
Right, they don't even know what it is, because it may be very well expected to only use the bathroom every 2 to 3 days as a teenager because that's been your lifestyle.
Know that it is not a good thing to be using the bathroom or making a bowel movement every 2 to 3 days. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So
you know, video recording?
No, I thought you were audio. So
video.
They may not know these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're edgy, they're angst, they're full of anger, they, you know, got all this attitude.
Right.
Because they don't feel the best. But if you can decongest that a bit,
clear that colon out.
Clear that colon, which is like the, you know, the mind, brain, the gut, brain, the colon brain connect is serious.
Greater than 90% of disease starts in the colon.
I mean, it's serious. It's really serious. And so getting people to understand this is amazing. Because I mean, even if I eat some, for instance, even me, if I eat some gluten, I'm gonna feel backed up.
Oh yeah.
You know, for about 2 days. And if I feel constipated, I'm cranky. Because I mean, I'll be cranky.
You cranky.
Don't make me get cranky.
No,
I wouldn't feel well, and I don't want to be all you know, if I'm backed up.
Right.
So imagine these teens and these children feeling that way.
We just got to take care of ourselves. We have to take ownership for our bodies, not the doctor, because they don't know everything, and they definitely don't know about nutrition. So if they don't know about nutrition, they truly don't know what kind of foods, what you need to intake into your body to make it better. They just want to medicate you. So we have to understand what's going on inside these bodies personally.
Yes. I mean, we have to understand some of this physiology. We got to understand some basic stuff regarding these vessels that we're supposed to be showing up in this world. You know, this body that's supposed to harness and carry all this greatness that we're here to give. You know, like I'm sure this young lady is brilliant.
Brilliant. She is
feeling all horrible, you know? Yeah. And so if we can clear away a lot of that muck.
Right. We just got to decide. Folk, we just got to decide, you know?
And you know food is the #1 addiction.
Boy, people kill you over their food.
So, I mean, to ask somebody to change their whole eating habit, that's major.
It is major.
That's major.
But like I told the husband today, the family today, I said, there's going to have to come a time when you make a decision. Because now it's basically life or death. So it's either you adopt this lifestyle or change your lifestyle, or you continue on down this road and the chips fall where they may.
But this, when I even heard you say it's life or death, that made me kind of sad, because why is it that we got to get to the point of desperation, the point of life or death, the point of if you don't do it, why do we have to get there? That's what I'm asking. Like, why can't we love ourselves enough and value ourselves enough to say, you know what, I don't even want to have to get there.
Right.
I want to make life juicy and robust and healthy and just delicious.
Juicy
and
living.
Juicy
Delicious living.
And I'm gonna do this by fueling my body with the best things, not for my tongue,
right,
but for my body.
for the body.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
So if you all want to hear more, let us know. We're driving right now.
Processing.
You know, and so we just wanted to let you all know, or let the people know out there what we encountered today. You know, just a nice little breakfast for a family to show them, to give them some information.
Hey, wait. The wife was amazed at our 2-year-old.
Oh, really?
That boy ate
Everything.
his entire plate. Maybe left a little biscuit left.
No. Well, that was the second, was it?
What? No, I hope not.
second-
I hope not.
Them some big biscuits, baby.
Right.
You
I made
some
them big
biscuits.
so people would just have one.
Made some big
Right.
biscuits, baby.
But he ate all his food and then asked for some more grits. He did ask for some more grits.
Okay.
And he wanted
got some more of that.
seaweed and he wanted flax.
Oh yes, that's another thing. We had the nori sheets,
Yes.
little bite-sized nori sheets
Right.
that the wife tried. The husband didn't try, but the wife tried.
Exactly. But he ate all his food. He sat quietly, ate all his food, asked for some more grits, and she was just like, wow. And I'm like,
It's all about training.
right.
It's all about training.
Right. It's about training because I'm telling you, so many mothers are slaves to their children.
Right.
Meaning, like even while we were having breakfast, this couple's children, who are teenagers,
Yes.
were texting them saying, we're at home and we're starving.
Right, and we serving food. We thought they were gonna come. I'm like, why? I mean, but I
see,
guess
that
that's the
wasn't my
mindset
issue.
of a teen. Right, I don't know. I guess that's the mindset of a teenager. Y'all go.
My
Y'all
issue
go.
is I know there's
Come
a
on,
refrigerator
come
full
on.
of food.
Right, that's true.
But it's not what you want. But you starving and you know
That's
your
true.
parents are out. It's too
Right,
much.
and they could have came easily, and they would have been fed.
But that's okay. But what a lot of parents of young children, they're so busy tap dancing, trying to figure out what you're gonna eat, what you're not gonna eat. You don't like this, you don't like that. What can I give you? What can I not give you? And then let's say they have 3 children. You think I'm cooking 3 different meals?
I hope
Or
not.
running a grab? But no. But really, parents who think they're loving their children well, they do these things. But what we've noticed is it creates fickleness. It creates a sense of entitlement.
Right.
And it creates, just like, boom, give me what I want. And if I don't get what I want, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
And so, because this family is sort of like that right now, and they're teenagers, and the wife was able to say, we cultivated that.
That's true.
We cultivated that.
That's another thing.
What?
To be able to honestly say what your role is in that process, because we know parents that put the onus on the child.
What do you mean? Like, it's your fault?
They put the onus on the child for the things that they do, and it's not always the child. The parent has a
You have to
great
cultivate
responsibility.
that. Right. So, for instance, I'm gonna tell you all, I prepare a meal, and that is what is that's what's being served.
And so if you
if
don't
the
want it-
children ask for something else, I say, oh, that's not on the menu today.
Right.
And then because I love the children and I learn them, we're going over there.
Right, I got you.
So we love them and we pay attention. I have learned there are some things that they genuinely don't care for on their palate. Like, for instance, my firstborn genuinely doesn't like celery. My firstborn daughter genuinely doesn't like blackberries and blueberries.
Where that came from.
Genuinely. Then I have another one that genuinely doesn't like eggplant. Where you going, babe?
Oh, okay.
Genuinely doesn't like eggplant. And so I take these things into consideration. I mean, I'm not just like mean,
Right.
but if you don't like what's being served, that's absolutely fine. You can either eat what's available or catch me next mealtime. And I guarantee you, when children are not just grabbing chips or grabbing bread or grabbing whatever all throughout the day, snacking all day, they will have proper appetite.
For real.
Hearty, proper appetite.
For real. All right, so you all take it easy.
Pulling up.
And we're at our destination, so any questions, let us know. And we'll see you all next time.